This one is from a guy who says that he's got to 1 year alcohol free, and he's depressed, he's feeling anxious, and he's feeling just a sense of apathy. I'll read you out the quote. I'm not going to read you the name of this guy because it's a private email, but I think the idea can help other people, right? I very like the idea that you don't have to call yourself an alcoholic. I feel still ashamed of my past, but my question is something else. Is it still normal to feel depressed, anxious, or feel apathy near the 1 year milestone? You don't have to call yourself anything, particularly an alcoholic. So I'm glad that you're not doing that. That's going to help you in the long term, I think. There's always a certain amount of shame in everybody's past, regardless of whether they've been drinking alcohol or not. And shame is one of those things. It's a very subjective feeling. It's a very subjective emotion. So, what some people will feel shame of, other people won't. You see people doing awful things in this life and not feeling any shame for it. So, I think the capacity to feel shame is a good thing, right? I think it shows that you're changing within yourself, that you're willing to change within yourself, that you see things from your own past as being something that you don't want to do anymore. But look, don't allow it to hinder your progress. Shame, as I say, is a subjective thing, but it can also be something that you change in. Some of the things that I've done in my past, I was shameful for in my past, but on reflection, looking back on them, I look at them through different eyes. I look at them through much kinder eyes, the way that it is what it is in life. Nobody is without blots on their own journey forwards, in their own history, and there's nothing to say that you won't move forwards and not make blunders and do things that in hindsight that you weren't ashamed of, right? So I think it's normal to feel depressed, anxious. I think it's normal to feel apathetic about certain things in life, right? Every individual is different, so every individual is going to feel different levels of those things. Stopping drinking alcohol is not really a magic bullet. It's not something that you can stop doing this and everything will become better, that your emotions will gradually get into check. Because emotions are a response to the things that we're doing in the world. A lot of the time the alcohol has created a life which doesn't go away as soon as you stop the alcohol. It's still there, so you have to work on that. Even after a year, I think it's not a magic bullet. It depends on what you're working on yourself, right? I want to talk about as well the depression and the anxiety. And there's many reasons for depression and anxiety and apathy, right? And I mostly feel for most people that these things are an inside job, right? In terms of feeling depressed rather than being depressed. The same with anxiety. You feel anxious rather than, I think the better way to look at things is I feel anxious rather than I am anxious, or I'm an anxious person. Same thing with apathy. I feel apathy at this moment in time. I think it's a better way of processing things. These are processes. Depression is a process. It should have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Anxiety is the same thing. Apathy is the same thing. We all go through those processes in life at times. But I think when you start to look at yourself as being depressed or anxious or apathetic, then it starts to reflect back on you that you don't feel like you can get out of that. Whereas if you look at it as a process, you see that it is a process, that there is a middle part of this and there's an end. And it's the end part that is the most important, that you're focusing on, right? So I don't know you, right, personally, so I can't begin to offer you any practical guidance for you yourself, right? I wish I could, but it's just not the way these things work. When you look at somebody who is in the middle of depression, or is feeling anxious, or is feeling apathetic. There are just so many different avenues that you could take. Everyone's different in these. So everyone's footprint is going to be different, right? So, maybe you're just being too hard on yourself. Maybe your expectations are too great at this time. Maybe you've got to that stage where you expected to be somewhere else, and you're not there, right? Maybe you're expecting something within your emotions or your thinking that would change, but a lot of the time, there is so much that you can change in a year when you stop drinking, when you make a big habit change in life, because of just the nature of the beast, right? There is so much potential for you to change. But it doesn't mean to say that you are going to change in that way. Or, sometimes it takes a long time for the emotions to go through. I remember climbing up, going through an experience myself 3, 4, 5 years after I stopped drinking alcohol, where all these emotions came up all at once. And I went through a sort of a barrier, if you like, that I hadn't gone through before. And I hadn't realized I needed to work on those emotions. I'm 11 years into this journey now, right? And sometimes it's a slog. It's been a slog. Sometimes it's felt like I've been just dragging my feet. Sometimes it's felt like I've been deliberately dragging my feet. And other times it's just been like every time I try and make a step forwards, I'm wading through quicksand, if you like, right? Hindsight is 20/20. If I could go back to that person I was at the beginning in 2013, and if I could hand myself a manual for everything that I know now and the step-by-step guide to do to get where I am now, I could shave at least 50% of that time off. At least, if not more. I would say in that first year, I could do more in that first year than I did in my first 5 years. But that's hindsight, and that's the knowledge that I know now. That's the way that my thinking has changed, the way that it's top-down thinking over emotions, and then that's all dealing with life then and how you deal with those things. So, look, take it easy on yourself. Take this step by step. Just focus on the things that are the most important to you. Focus on the things that are going to help you to relax, to release tension if that's what's bothering you, Focus on the things that are going to lift you up mentally, emotionally, and a lot of the time you're going to have to experiment with that, see how far you've already come. That's a huge thing. And, get into that 1 year milestone is a huge thing. So, you should congratulate yourself on that and be happy about that, because it's a huge one. So anyway, I'll stop it for today. I just wanted to wish you buen viaje, as they say here in Spain. Good journey, and all the best to you. Take care. Onwards and upwards, bye now.